Ripper dinosaurs are absolutely no joke, but the good news is I'm going to showcase how you can AFK them with the proper setup. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, make sure you stay tuned. Let's dive in. As for the requirements for these guys, since it is going to be super hard, you're going to need higher requirements. First off, you're going to need 114 plus Slayer in order to be able to fight them. After that, I have 90 plus combat skills on here. We're going to be using Necromancy, so it's Necro, Defense, and your Constitution. But if you have 114 plus Slayer, I'm going to assume you're going to be closer to maxing out. So the better your combat skills, the better off you are against these things. After that, I have 118 plus Archaeology. We are going to have high tier Relic Powers to be able to AFK these guys fully. Following that up, we have 107 plus Herblore for our Elder Overload salves, 96 plus Summoning so we can have a Ripper Demon Familiar, 85 plus Invention so you can perk out your gear the way you need it to be perked out. Following that up, we have the quest. You will need the Temple Acid Testing quest to be completed so you can have curses unlocked. And following up, you have the Dwarf Cannon quest so you can use your multi-cannon against these guys for your aggro. As for what I recommend having at least 114 plus Invention so you can create potion reservoirs to make this a super AFKable method. Following that up, I have tried to get this on a Slayer task, having a Genocidal perk along with having your Slayer helmet on the Anachronia stand does wonders on damage you do to the Ripper dinosaurs. After that, I have Restocking Cannon perk from the Artisan Workshop. It is super key to making it a super AFKable method since you don't have to go and click on your cannon every 5 minutes. And finally, I have like and sub to the channel if you'd like to see more AFK content like this. Now, before diving into gear and inventory, I want to do a quick shout out to Dolby RS for the video idea of AFKing Ripper dinosaurs. If you guys are interested, link to their channel will be down in the description below. Now, taking on Ripper dinosaurs in an AFK style is no easy feat, and as you can see, this is the minimal gear requirements that you do need to be able to make this a fully AFK method. Now, as you see, I do have 3 pieces of the Cripploom armor, and it's not just because of Animate Dead that we are going to be using. We are also going to need the 12% damage reduction from the passive of the Cripploom armor set. And then we're going to follow up this defense style with the top and bottom tier 90 Death Warden set. That's for the damage reduction along with the dodge chance that comes with those 2 pieces. As for the aura, we will be using a Vampirism aura. You cannot soul split these guys no matter how hard you try, and the only way to heal would be from your Ghost and your Vampirism aura. So the Vampirism aura is the best here and is probably the only aura that will make this an AFKable method. Now, we will be using a Zuck Cape for this method for the simple fact that Death Scrolls need to go off as much as possible since you'll have 3 Ripper dinosaurs attacking you at all times. So Death Scrolls having only a 60% adrenaline is super key for this method to work. We are going to be using the Necklace of Salamancy for that additional 10% accuracy and damage buff to dinosaurs, along with the 3% drop rarity boost from dinosaurs as well. For the ring, we are going to be using the Occultist ring. We do have Finger of Death that's actually used pretty often in the Revo bar, so the more Necrosis snacks that you can possibly get while doing basic abilities, the better. Now, for the ammo slot, we do have our Nexus that holds all of our Ectoplasm and our Necro Ruins, and it's not a minimal gear setup unless you have at least your tier 90s or below weapons. In this case, we do have the tier 90 weapons for Necromancy to make this an AFKable method. And as for the pocket slot, we have the Underworld Grim 4 on here, so all of your dinosaur bones that drop get sent to the ritual site automatically. For our inventory, we do have our potion reservoirs or Elder Overload salves to go inside of them. I do have Weapon Poison +++ along with some Quorum Incense sticks for the additional poison damage, even though we are not using Cinderbane gloves. After that, we do have Powder of Penances for all of our prayer needs, along with the Ripper Demon Familiar for the much needed extra damage that it does deal. Down below, I do have the cannonballs, a Grasping Rune pouch with runes in it to cast Animate Dead. I do have a Seed Aside on here for the additional farm and XP. I also have a Spring Cleaner. They do drop some alkables, which does improve your profits over your hour. I do have an Artificer's Measure on here. You can bring an upgraded gem bag. They do drop some Dragon Stones every once in a while. You can pick them up. If not, no big deal. And of course, we have our Enhanced Excalibur just in case something went south and you needed a quick little heal. As for the perks, you want to go more defensive than anything else. For the Skull Lantern, I had Eruptive 4, Ruthless 3, since we want to be able to try to deal as much damage as possible since we are going defensive. Down for the Death Guard, I had Precise 6 and Genocidal, so that's why I said to try to get these guys on a task so you have that additional damage from Genocidal. As for the robe top, we are running with Crystal Shield 4, Absorber 4, and on the robe bottom, we have Enhanced Devoted 4 since we will be using Deflect Melee, along with Lucky 6 to make this a super defensive style. Now, for the Relic Powers, they are pretty crucial. You're going to want to have Death Ward, Conservation of Energy, and Fury of the Small. Death Ward is because you are going to hit about half health pretty often, so you're going to want to be able to have that 10% damage reduction as often as possible so you can regain your health from vampirism and your ghost. Now, Conservation of Energy is a no-brainer anytime you want to use Death Skulls, especially when you are using a Zuck cape. As for Fury of the Small, it is pretty good, especially when you need as much adrenaline as you're going to need for this Revo bar I'm going to be showing you here in a second. Which looks like this. You're going to have Death Skulls, Conjure Army, which will be all 4 Conjures, Command Ghost, Devotion, since we are going to be using Deflect Melee, Command Skeleton, Touch of Death, Soul Sap, Resonance for the additional healing as well, Reflect, so you can half the damage and reflect half back to them, Volley of Souls, and Finger of Death. With Ripper Dinosaurs, you have to have a defensive mindset while also trying to dish out as much damage as possible to get them killed before they use their mechanic. Which, in case you did not know, is the most dangerous part about Ripper Dinosaurs. So after 14 seconds of them attacking you, not you attacking them, and with us using a cannon for this method, they're always going to be aggro to you while you are fighting another Ripper Dinosaur. So after 14 seconds of them attacking you, you will start seeing typeless damage from them tearing at your skin. Now, this does go up in damage over time unless you use Freedom or you kill the Ripper Dinosaur that started tearing at you. And this is the exact reason why we're going to be using a full defensive setup to be able to fight Ripper Dinosaurs on an AFKable level. Now, before you go, make sure you hit the bonfire, and since you are high enough level to fight the Ripper Demons, you should have the Slayer cape, and you'll be able to teleport straight to Laniaka and Anachronia. So once you make it over into the area, all you have to do is just run northeast down the stairs to the area where the Ripper Demons are at. Now, where to place your cannon, you want to stand next to this pillar I'm at, 2 squares down and 5 tiles to the left, and then you're going to place your cannon. Once you place your cannon, do not activate it. You're going to activate everything else. Your Vampirism Aura, your Potion Reservoirs, your Elder Overload Salves to go inside of that, your Weapon Poison +++, your Quorum Incense Sticks. Make sure you overload them first and then extend them all the way to that 1 hour. Your Powder of Penances, then you're going to summon your Ripper Familiar, your Animate Dead, or Deflect Melee, and we're going to turn on Sorrow. Now, once you have everything ready, you're going to turn on your cannon and you're going to let the Revolution Bar do the work. The only things you ever have to pay attention to was to renew a Potion Reservoir and throw an Elder Overload Salve inside of it, along with your Weapon Poison +++ and your Animate Dead, but those are every 12 minutes. Now, one thing I do want to note is their bleed attack. You will not see it as a debuff on your bar, so you never know when you're taking typeless damage unless you watch your own hit splats on your character. And I'm only bringing this up because it was a pet peeve not knowing when I had a debuff up with the bleed to see how much damage I was actually taking over time and how often I was having that bleed on my character. Now, during your hour with Ripper Dinosaurs, you can expect around 265 kills per hour. As for the XP, you can expect around 1.5 million combat experience within your hour, along with 238,000 for your Constitution, and for the mere little bit of farming XP, you can expect around 17,000 per hour as well. Now, whether you're using wild cards or you're using a Slayer task, you can expect around 500,000 XP per hour for your Slayer fighting Ripper Dinosaurs. Now, after my hour, I got around 16.4 million GP off of just the drops alone. Now, I'm probably going to guarantee that the prices will fluctuate a good bit in the future since the Eternal Magic Wood Spirits are drops from Ripper Dinosaurs, and that is a brand new content, so those are probably going to drop in price over time, so you might want to get to this as soon as possible. Now, that's also not including the rare drops that you can get just from any dinosaur inside of Anachronia, which is the Blowpipe pieces, along with laceration boots and an unchecked Ripper Dinosaur for your player-owned farm. Now, after all of your expenses, which is basically your cannonballs and your powder of penances, you can expect around 12.6 million GP per hour fighting Ripper Dinosaurs. And in my book, any kind of Slayer monster, whether they have a higher setup like this and they make more than 12 million GP per hour, I consider that a very good thing. But that does come an end to this video. If you guys found anything useful or interesting, make sure to hit that like button. If you guys are brand new to this channel and you'd like to see more AFK content like this, or even low effort bosses, make sure to hit that sub button. Also hit that notification bell so you know when I upload next. But until next time, guys, I hope you stay safe. See ya.